Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
This is Mac.
And this is our Kyushu review shoe episode, talking about the past 2 weeks of sumo. But at the top of the episode, before we get to our patrons, because even more important than that is me. And Fleric, I need you to
nobody could have said that better than Ryan.
Title.
All right. Yokozuna Ryan, you are so good at predicting sumo matches. So much better than me, Sukibito Fleric. Well done.
Damn it, it feels good every time. It feels the worst when it's coming from Fleric, but it still feels good.
It feels the worst?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it feels the best.
No, if it's coming from Jake, oh, that's so
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand.
You know what's gonna make Tsukebito Fleric feel better though, is all that back pain he's got from carrying that thing around his neck. What is that you got there, buddy?
Oh, this little thing around my neck, which is a medal I got at the amateur
Midwest Open.
Midwest Open. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a second place medal from the team's event. The team that I was in.
What number is on there? I can't quite see.
Oh, it's a nice two.
Oh, man.
I doubt anyone on this podcast could best.
Mine
the
only
number 2
says
medal.
1. Oh, that's not as many.
Oh no!
Mine says best,
Hold
which
on,
is
Ryan.
the same as 1.
The wrestlers are talking, Ryan.
Hey,
Yeah.
we've all got some hardware.
Not
on
the
this
Bonsuke
podcast.
nerds.
Hey,
we've all got some hardware, you
hardware.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least 3 of us, right? Right, Mac?
ooh.
Mine's below the desk. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
All right, we're gonna quickly move on from that.
let's move on.
Let's
real-
please.
real
do.
quick, though,
I'm happy
for-
to talk more about it.
For full
Nobody else
disclosure,
wants it.
Darius won this medal and dragged me along, with him.
The 6'4" giant that is Darius.
Yep. Fleric and I actually literally tied in lightweight. But then in the teams competition we had some teammates better at sumo than we are.
That's very
which
true.
is pretty awesome. All right, I'm sorry, let's go.
Yep, we've got a lot of patron compliments to give out. We've had 6 people sign up for our Patreon since we recorded the
6?
midway.
Yeah.
6.
Hot damn.
People want to join that GSB Discord. It is a hot commodity. So, Mac, why don't you kick us off with our compliments?
Indeed, I shall. To Andrew Harmon, we would get lost in a 3-minute or longer stare down with you.
Those beautiful blue/brown/
I just
green
get lost
/
in those
hazel.
eyes.
Whatever color they may be.
Whatever color they may be.
Yeah. Darth Churros, we would turn to the dark side for you. Or if you're Mac, he would stay there for you.
Oh, absolutely. I have to have churros. Cinnamon.
To our new supporter, Arguabil, this is arguably the best pun you'll hear on this show.
Oh, it was painful.
All right, McKay. No need to be McCoy with me. McKay is okay in my book.
I was expecting a Mr. Garrison accent, but it didn't. That was better.
No.
Okay.
Why Mr. Garrison? Oh,
Okay.
MK.
Okay. Drugs are bad. Okay.
Oh, I get you.
It's a South Park joke, Fleric.
That's a South Park joke,
is
yeah.
is a cartoon. It's like an adult comedy show
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Which
on
anime?
television.
Which anime season did that come out in?
Ooh,
Okay. But rub-a-dub-dub, Paul Baker in the club. But what kind of sumo has he? A pusher, a fainter, a suridashi maker? Glad I'm not in a ring with thee.
Look at that. Straight up literature being spouted
Nursery
out from Mac's
rhyme.
mouth.
That shit.
Yeah.
Boom.
sexy voice and everything.
Yeah. To the bearded barbarian, he believes that what is best in life is to crush your opponents, see them fall down before you, and to hear the lamentations of their oyakata.
Ooh, that is what's good. That is what's best in life, truly.
Mhm. And to our continuing Koen Kai or supporters, vocab word for you.
Ooh.
First among them is, of course, Adam, the winner of our Patreon Champ Chump, one of the new things that we're trying out in the Discord.
Hey.
was a lot of fun this time around, and got a lot more trash talk going on. That was a lot of fun.
It was great.
But also to Vegzo, Willie John, Zuclaw, Summer, Paul Simpson, Frank Kelton, Mark Burgess, Trent E., Jeffrey Armando, Martha M., Huata, Emo Dingo, Robbie Gardner, Glenn Otto, Casey Mustang, Daniel Roberts, Radish Cat, Dick Flair, Stephen Ward, and Baron. That list is getting unwieldy. I don't have a funny one. I have a very heartfelt, legitimate one.
Ooh.
When we were at the Midwest Open, we were approached by a fan who recognized us on site and was like, "Hey, I know you guys. I listened to your show. I won one of your t-shirts."
Awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that was
wow.
amazing.
That was so cool. And I sincerely want to thank our patrons for contributing to the show to let us continue to do things like send out t-shirts, send out prizes, and afford to make the show more fun for everybody involved, including us getting to pretend we're celebrities when we're on the road doing sumo.
Pretend being the keyword.
I don't know. Jake's getting up there. Like he's becoming like a hot commodity in the amateur sumo
A
scene.
mogul, if you will. Yeah.
Oh, a mogul.
Yes.
Another vocab word.
Speaking of, though, that is a good transition real quick to quick Amazumo update. I'm going to burn through this because there's a lot of info and we've already we've already spent a good deal of time not talking about the Basho. But quick recap, Fleric and I did the Midwest Open. We are, I guess, already spoiled how we did, kind of. But go watch the full video on the Grand Sumo Breakdown YouTube channel. And remember that results are less important than enjoyment.
Hey, you've got medals around your neck. That's what's important.
Yeah. I went 0-2 in this division, baby, and I got a gold. I did get
1-1.
closer.
Let's go.
Yeah. I got closer to beating Josh from Ohio than I got last time, so that's something. But a couple quick shout outs on that event. Hunter Williams out of Ohio Sumo was the host, and he put on an excellent debut tournament, his first go around, and he has already confirmed that he is doing it annually. So looking forward to that. Shout out to Yama for driving up from St. Louis, giving us a lot of advice, and also did a training session the day after. That was super cool.
For those who don't know, former Grand Sumo wrestler Yama.
Yeah, like Maegashira. Like, yeah.
Expelled for, what was it, the gambling?
He was one of the, he was one of like, one of the guys caught up in the match fixing in 2011.
Yeah.
But since then, he's spent his time coaching and has actually coached up the first ever women's U.S. medalist in sumo.
That's awesome.
So like, yeah, he's done a ton of work since then. But yeah, he's since moved to the Midwest from California, and he is diving headfirst into the Amazumo scene.
Awesome.
We got to hang out with a good deal of sumo clubs out there, including Ohio, Chicago. There's now 2 Ronin sumo clubs. We got to meet the ones from Canada. Super cool guys. Yeah, Toronto. They've been around for like a decade and just were kind of like cross paths, and they're like, oh, there's amateur sumo in America, or I guess the US. Canada is in America. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Got to meet some cool people, and big shout out to our other 2 teammates from Iowa Sumo Club. Brandon and Corbin came out with us, and yeah, we had a ton of fun. Check that out on the GSB YouTube channel.
Sweet.
Quick run through of the stuff that's coming up. The Texas Classic is on December 17th in Houston. That's hosted by Shogeki. That is the last event of the year. Shortly after that will be the final newsletter of the year, summing up everything that happened, including our amateur awards for the year. In the new year, on January 27th in Nashville, is the Kuma Bash. That is an all-youth tournament. In February, you have the Mighty Eagle Team Tournament in San Antonio on the 10th, and the SoCal Open. That is in San Diego on the 24th. Plenty more coming, but there you go. There's your next 3 months of sumo in the U.S.
The Met tournament is always so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
One more note on Yama before we move on. He was the heaviest Japanese-born sumo wrestler in history and is also thought to be the heaviest Japanese person ever.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that last part, but yeah.
I didn't either.
According to Wikipedia, at least. So,
yeah. Super cool guy. Also, turns out, loves babies. He hung out with Sam quite a bit. They were, I got some awesome pictures from that.
I was going to say,
Cool.
and babies love Yama as well.
Yes, it goes both ways.
Yeah. I just remember him when he picked him up, like he was crying at the time, but then he just kind of sat, like was there in his arms, his odd face,
Sam
just
was
kind of looking
crying.
at him.
Yama was not
Yeah.
crying.
Oh, okay. Thank you for distinguishing. I was assuming your son was the
Yeah.
Hulk reborn.
Yama was
Jake's-
crying, so we gave him a baby and he settled down.
Here, this calm you down.
Yeah. It was
And-
super adorable to see. It was great.
Before we dive into the results of the Kyushu Basho, just want to send out a quick plug for our popularity poll, which, if you are listening to this, is live. We are going to be posting a link in the podcast description, a link in the YouTube description. So wherever you're listening to this, you should be able to
Or
find
watching.
a link to take the survey. This is the 5th year that we're doing this. We want to get as many people involved in this as possible. Last year, Ura was the most popular Rikishi and Abi was the most hated Rikishi. I want to see if it continues to stay that way. Who's going to rock it up into the top 10 favorites? I think Atami Fuji has a good chance of doing that. So really want to get all those submissions for that. We should have the results of that before the end of the year. Okay, that has been too long that we have not talked about the Kyushu Basho in this Kyushu review shoe. So the Yusho winner was
Too many
The
oohs in
Yushu
there, Ryan.
review shoe.
You played yourself.
I did. That's on me, and I have nobody to blame but myself. Actually, no, I'll blame B for introducing us to the term Kyushu.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Yusho winner, Ozeki Kirishima, not the Ozeki that a lot of people were hoping for, as some people were hoping for a Takakeisho Yusho to possibly get that Yokozuna belt, but it is Kirishima with a 13-2 record. Really nice to see a 13-2 winning record for a change, especially after an 11-4 Basho. This
No
is
kidding.
obviously his second career Yusho, and Kirishima, he's going to have the opportunity to do what Takakeisho couldn't this Basho in January, when if he gets another Yusho, he could very well be promoted to Yokozuna. We had 3 June Yusho winners in this Basho. We had Sekiwake Kotonowaka, his first career June Yusho. Maegashira 8, Atami Fuji doing it again, putting himself into the Yusho race until the final day for the second straight Basho with his second career June Yusho. And Maegashira 14, Ichi Yamamoto, with his first career June Yusho. We had a triumvirate of special prizes awarded. No Gino Show technique prizes, no Shukun Show outstanding performance prizes, all Kanto Show fighting spirit prizes awarded, and all to our June Yusho winners, Kotonowaka, Atami Fuji, Ichi Yamamoto. So this is the 5th career fighting spirit prize for Kotonowaka, his 5th special prize overall, the 2nd career fighting spirit prize for Atami Fuji, his 2nd prize overall, and the 1st fighting spirit prize for Ichi Yamamoto, his 1st career special prize. So before we move on and talk about Kirishima, because we're going to spend a decent amount of time on him, Mac, I just want to get your thoughts on Atami Fuji at this point, as this has been a very impressive return to the top division for him. Just want to get your thoughts on the young lad.
I think he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, the past 3 tournaments, he's gone 11-4. He got a Yusho on the very last of those 11-4 back in Juryo, and he's followed it up from the M15 and M8, same record, same back-to-back, same prizes of all things. I want to see what he can do. Can he do it from M1? That'll be the big question. But no, I like the sumo that I'm seeing from him. I think he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. He's just a little too green at this point.
He got a win against Nozeki. That
did.
was him.
True.
Last time when he got his matches up the Bansuke when he was doing really well, he it looks like he lost against Sekiwake and above. Yeah, he lost against Daisho, lost against Takakeisho, and also Takakeisho. Yeah, there was a playoff. I was
Yeah,
very
there was a
confused for a
playoff.
second looking at the results. But no, it's he is definitely green, but he got that kind of Ozeki kind of win. That was super impressive. It's
Yeah,
very,
he's
very
showing
well done.
his stuff. He's showing his might, and he's getting there. It's just he just needs more tournaments under his belt. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what this guy can do.
Yeah, especially with the rest of the new blood not really delivering this tournament. Glad that Atami Fuji is continuing to do so.
Please, do something.
And what about Ichi Yamamoto, our June Yusho winner? Mac and I kind of dismissed him out of hand for Yusho contention. And I mean, we were kind of right. He was out of it
Yeah.
by day 13, but still an impressive performance for Ichi Yamamoto. His career high number of wins in the top division, obviously his first Junior show, his first fighting spirit or any sort of special prize. So a good showing by Ichi Yamamoto. It'll be interesting to see. This should rocket him to about his career high rank, which is Baigashira 8. Last time he was there, he got a 4-11 record. So it'll be very interesting to see how Ichi Yamamoto fares in the next Basho. We'll see if it was a product of has his sumo improved since his last time up there, or was this just a product of him facing a much easier schedule? So for the Yusho race, there wasn't a whole lot of drama involved in this one. After day 13, it was down to Atami Fuji and Kirishima. They both had 11 wins. The next closest, Rikshi, had 9 wins. And we knew that they were going to be facing each other on day 14, meaning one of them was guaranteed a 12th win and that nobody else would be able to catch up to them. So we knew it came down to Atami Fuji or Kirishima on day 13 for the Yusho race. Then we had the matchup. Kirishima defeated Atami Fuji without too much difficulty, I would say. And then on day 15, Atami Fuji loses to Koto Nowaka before Kirishima has a chance to fight, which means Kirishima is the Yusho winner before his day 15 matchup against Takakeisho, which he did go on to win.
Quick shout out that we forgot was that day 15. Ryan and I joined Salt City Sumo to watch that one live, which was a blast. But yeah, having that Atami Fuji loss kind of deflated a little bit of the rest of that day. But like, it was still awesome. But like, yeah, it was I mean, we've been spoiled a handful of times where it comes the whole tournament comes down to like the very final match of the entire thing. So yeah, it may have been a little bit of an anticlimax, but regardless, at the very least, it still did come down to the final day, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But the reason there wasn't a whole lot of drama in this Basho is because Kirishima was looking pretty damn good. He started the Basho 4-2, but would go on to win his final 9 matches, dispatching every member of the Sanyaku ranks, with the exception of Hoshoryu, who he did not fight this Basho because they had to make room for him to fight Atami Fuji to decide the Yusho. Fleric, how impressed were you by Kirishima this Basho?
I was super impressed. I think he did a smart move of kind of telling people that his back hurt, like right before.
A little
so
gamesmanship.
my expectations were a little bit low, but like it's like even not even counting for that, like he had a very good record, but he looked convincing, especially like his match against like his last like couple days like matches. It was very solid, like Ozeki level sumo, like and if he keeps this up for multiple Bashos in a row, I could easily see him maybe going on to be Yokozuna. But no, but for this Basho alone, this seemed like kind of almost a step up from what I've seen before. He looked like he was comfortable at this rank, and he just kind of like he just said, this Basho is mine. I'm the best Rikshi here at the moment. I'm just gonna take it, and it was just a joy to watch.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It really didn't seem like he met up with a whole lot of resistance, like after he picked up his 2 losses to Takayasu and Gonoyama. Like it just seemed like he was able to control everything. There wasn't a whole lot of drama in any of his matches, and the vast majority of his wins were not Okuridashi, but Oshidashi, Yorikiri, just very straightforward, basic sumo. He was able to get a hold of your belt. He was able to push you out, and that's all there was to it. There were a lot of reports before this Basho of people talking about what good shape Kirishima was in. He was dominating training. He was doing like 40 sumo matches a day in the days leading up to the Basho. So he's obviously in great sumo shape. And so maybe he's found a training regimen that really works for him, really gets him prepped for a Basho. And these are the results that we get. And I would love to see the dream is we see Teruno Fuji next Basho, Kirishima in the same shape, and then Kirishima finally getting over the hump, finally beating Teruno Fuji, beat the Yokozuna, win the Yusho, become Yokozuna yourself. Will he do it? We'll talk about that in January, but it is wide open for him, and I feel like there's no well, maybe like we had with Takakeisho after
no
his
asterisks,
11-4
no
Yusho.
conditionals.
But what a year for Kirishima. So this time last year, he was in his third Basho as a Komusubi, and he finished with an 8-7 record. And his top division accolades at that time included a Fighting Spirit prize. He got 11 wins in his debut Basho, so he got the standard, hey, you got 10 or more wins in your debut Basho, here's a Fighting Spirit prize. That's all he had to his name in the top division coming up to this. And then since this year, in the 6 Bashos this year, he had 4 Basho with 11 or more wins. He won 3 special prizes, all technique prizes from the first 3 tournaments of this year. And then the final 3 tournaments of the year, he wasn't eligible to win any more special prizes because he was promoted to Ozeki. He won 1 Jun Yusho. He won 2 Yusho. He finished with the most wins in the top division, and he is on the cusp of being promoted to Yokozuna. And to reflect on that, the YDC, the Yokozuna Deliberation Council, they said if Kirishima repeats in the same fashion in January, we will suggest a promotion to Yokozuna. It's important to note, after the YDC convened after the Aki Basho and Takakeisho won his Yusho, they didn't mention any sort of recommendation for promotion to Yokozuna or bring up his name in Yokozuna at all. So Kirishima impressed everybody, and it sounds like he is very much in, as he should be, in Ozeki with the Yusho, very much in line for a Yokozuna promotion with a follow-up performance.
Just bring some hype to the potential Kirishima versus Terunofuji that could happen. Hatsu. Apparently, Terunofuji has won 10 times out of 10. So Terunofuji definitely has had his number in the past. I'll be very curious if that's still the case with how he's been looking.
Mm-hmm.
I know the last time they fought, which was way back in frickin' May, Kirishima got pretty close to beating Terunofuji. He got him in a belt battle and held his own for a while, but obviously Terunofuji would go on.
You're not
going to
win in a prolonged battle with Terunofuji like that.
Well, we'll see after all these further injuries have accumulated.
No, fair. No, that was then. That was then.
But Jake, coming into this year, did you ever think we were going to see Kiribayama, who he was at the beginning of this year, reach this level where he'd be promoted to Ozeki, take on a new name, and we'd be talking about him and Yokozuna in the same breath?
Maybe not this soon, but I'm not going to pretend that this was a huge shock, right? I think to me it was.
I was surprised. I did not expect this from Kirishima.
I would say
never expected Yokozuna from him coming.
I think he turned a corner pretty hard this year for sure. But even when he made his debut, the comparisons to how he had that speedy but still powerful Harumafuji style of sumo, it was like one of the first cliche observations about the guy was like, "Wow, look, it's Harumafuji again." And yeah, I mean, I guess. I think it's kind of hard to put myself back in the mindset of before this year, but I don't really feel like I'm surprised that it has happened, other than the fact that it's how quickly he just flipped a switch at the beginning of the year. I think his sumo has always looked good. I think he and I know he's a handful of years older than Hoshoryu, but those two I always have kind of thought of in like the same, I put them in the same mental filing drawer, I guess, as not huge, but very savvy, very wide variety of technique, things like that.
I kind of lump Wakatakakage in with those two as well.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're guys that it doesn't shock me. Whereas I don't know who else is 27. I'm not gonna be able to pull an example out of the top of my head, but Ura maybe, or somebody else that's
Ura's 32.
Oh God, that's right. I remember he's older
he
than
does not look
Takakeisho.
32.
Takakeisho, yes.
Takakeisho's 27.
There you go, Takakeisho.
Meisei is 28.
Meisei, for example. I don't see the same out of him. I see
Oh No Show.
Yeah, there's some guys like Oh No Show. I see incredible straightforward pushing power, and that's kind of it. Or Meisei, his strongest attribute, in my opinion, is probably just his sheer intensity. But Kirishima, Hoshoryu, the Waka brothers have just kind of had the whole package. And yes, they've gotten better over time. And Kirishima, obviously, very rapidly this year has gotten better over time. But yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm shocked, but yeah, it's very cool, and it's very fun to see a guy that we have been watching from from his very debut in the division, I guess with Kirishima and Hoshoryu, coming all the way up to Ozeki and potentially the borderline of Yokozuna here.
Yeah. To maybe pump the hype a little bit on Kirishima, because I know we're going pretty strong on
Please?
this. Like,
Oh.
I think not just that Ryan. I just kind of looking at his records. Ryan said like after he became Ozeki, he wasn't eligible for any special prizes.
It's not
That's
like he would have
because
won any in those Bashos because
I was gonna say in
but...
Nagoya, like he had
Yeah.
a 6-7-2 because he was dealing with some injuries and he was actually out kind of in the beginning. And after that was only a 9-6, which is respectable for Ozeki, but it definitely is kind of reminiscent of Ozeki who go like 9-6 and then maybe 6-9 or something like that. They kind of go back and forth, and it was kind of looking like that he might be one of those Rikishi until this performance right now. So he was able to pull it together and get that amazing run to become Ozeki, but it's I think there is still some consistency issue of whether or not he can kind of be able to pull this off again.
Yeah.
So I think we still have to kind of wait and see because he did have those 2 Bashos where he wasn't in double digits wins up and at the end, and it doesn't look like he was really in the Yusho race. Also, it's kind of hard to know that just looking at the numbers, though.
It was the first match that he missed since 2020, and that was another like partial Kyujo. I guess I would disagree with calling it consistency issues and more. I don't see anything to indicate that it is a long running problem. He missed 2 matches in 2020 and then returned that Basho. And the only other time he's missed anything has been 2 of his Makushita Bashos. I think that he's got plenty of consistency, and I think it's the results have certainly turned a corner this year. And I think it would be safe to say whatever was plaguing him in the last 4 months or so, he's certainly seems to have gotten over it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'm just kind of pumping on the whole like might be the next Yokozuna kind of level. Like I think he's definitely looking pretty good. But like going into I don't know, like what does it because like consistency is definitely you have to have that to become Ozeki and you have to have that to become Yokozuna. We can see that especially with Takakeisho. Like he's a very talented person. Like he can definitely pull out a Yusho and prove he's the best and get a win. But that consistency is like definitely the thing he kind of struggles with. And it's just with Kirishima, he had an amazing Basho and he had an amazing Ozeki run. But whether or not he can pull off one like a 13-2 or so capable that can win another Basho 2 in a row, that is really, really hard to do. And I think looking at his previous records, it's kind of looking like it might not necessarily be able to pull off in Hatsu. Maybe sometime in the future because he's definitely growing, but it's maybe not exactly coming up right away.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for probably most any Rikishi to nail that Yokozuna promotion on their first try. I guess I'm curious what the statistic would be of that for like Ozeki that win a Yusho. What percent that go on to eventually become Yokozuna? Like what percentage of them do it like after their first Yusho at Ozeki, and then how many have to try multiple times? I'd be kind of curious on that.
Yeah, it would be super tough because it depends a lot on the field. Because it kind of is saying like I was the best person on the dohyo 2 times in a row. So and that's the kind of thing kind of holding me back. It's like I'm thinking about Hatsu he's pretty good, but is he the best on the dohyo? Like going into Hatsu, like Terunofuji, Terunofuji's beat him 10 times in a row, which would be kind of really tough.
Well,
and I think
on the dohyo, yeah, maybe. In the world, I don't know because Terunofuji's out there, but he's not on the dohyo.
Yeah, that is a very good point. That's a very good point. But even then, when I think of Hoshoryu and even Takakeisho, is I think those are very worthy battles. I don't think he's cutting shoulders above them at all.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Another note on this Yusho. This is the 100th Yusho won by a Mongolian Rikishi. And the first one was won by Asashoryu when he won his first Yusho back in the early 2000s. And since Asashoryu won his first Yusho, there have been a total of 124 Yushos. So 100 of those have been won by Mongolians.
Wow.
And then I
Jeez.
believe 21 have been won by a Japanese Rikishi, and then Baruto, Koto Oshu, and Tochi no Shin with those Eastern European Yushos. So it has been
those Japanese ones are also all pretty recent.
yeah. Takakeisho, I think Takakeisho has the most Japanese-born Yushos since Asashoryu came to town.
Yeah, the last guy
Really?
to have
More
more
than
than him and still be
Kisenosato?
around.
Kiseno Sato only had the two.
What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was the Jun Yusho king until he finally got the one Yusho, promoted to Yokozuna, won his debut Yokozuna Basho, and then that injury just
Oh my
basically ruined the rest of his
God.
career. So yeah.
I didn't realize it was just the two.
And I'm pretty sure
Wow.
Mitake Yumi
Has 3.
yeah, does anybody else even have multiple?
Tamawashi. He's got. Oh, but he's
Tamawashi's
Mongolian.
Mongolian, yeah.
Yeah, he's Mongolian. My fault.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't
anybody
know.
else even has 2.
Wow.
Because yeah, the only other ones would be Abi, Daisho,
Tokushoryu.
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 Oh god, it's been like almost 4 years, and that punchline doesn't get old.
No, it does not.
Shodai has one. That was forgettable for sure.
That counts.
Asanoyama. But yeah, all these names are just 1, and then yeah,
Mhm.
now we're back to Kiseno Sato with 2.
Wow.
Kota Shogaku got 1 in 2016. That's the Kota Shogaku was the one that broke the streak of like ages without any Japanese Yusho, going back to like pre-Asashoryu days.
And Kaio would have some. I think
Kaio's
he had
early
5
2000s.
yeah, he had 5 career, and some of them were during Asashoryu's time, but not all of them were during Asashoryu's time, which is why Takakeisho still has the most since Asashoryu's first Yusho.
Yeah, Kaio got his 5th and final in 2004, and since then only Tochi Azuma in 2006, and then it was 10 years before Kota Shogaku.
Jeez.
Wow,
That's
Yeah.
bad.
frustrating, I imagine, to live through for being a Japanese sumo fan.
All right. Well, we'll talk briefly about our other Ozeki. We had 3 Ozeki and 3 winning records. We have no conversations about Kadoban coming into this next Basho, which is always nice. So we're guaranteed 3 Ozeki through Hatsu and Haru. So Hoshoryu, he bounces back from his shaky Ozeki debut with that 8-7 record that he fought tooth and nail to get on the final day. And he got 10 wins this time, so a bounce back performance for him. Started off 5-0 and then went 5-5 since. I'm wondering if the scolding that he got after day 5 and his stare down of Go no Yama shook him a little bit. And the YDC had some continuing scolding for him and his stare down, using the words ugly, regrettable, and unseemly when talking about the incident with Go no Yama.
It was kind of bad.
They're talking about like it sounds like they're describing a zit.
Yeah.
A blight.
But yeah, so I doubt that has anything to do with it. But yeah, so Hoshoryu 10 wins as Ozeki, so that's good. Just keep moving forward, keep getting better. Takakeisho, he does lose his bid for the Yokozuna promotion. This was obviously his best performance following a Yusho as an Ozeki, as the previous 2 times he had pulled out of those tournaments. So Flarek, how did you feel watching Takakeisho this Basho? Was there any point during the tournament where you believed he could pull it off? Because I know during the preview, I think I scared all of us with talking about neck injury reoccurrence for Takakeisho. That probably did affect him, but he still came in, competed the whole Basho, got 9 wins.
Whether or not, I think the point where I believe like it's the thing is like with Takakeisho, he can always kind of just win matches, and he can probably just kind of pull it out and just pull out some wins that you don't think he should, and he can end up getting a Yusho. So my belief never really went away until I think probably about like after he had like 2 or 3 losses, and other people didn't really trip up until then. So
Yeah.
probably about halfway in the Basho is like when I thought, it's probably not gonna happen. But my doubts started much, much earlier because his sumo looked quite shaky. And I was just like, oh, this is probably not it.
Yeah, I still had just a shred of faith until he lost to Asanoyama, who had not wrestled yet this tournament.
Yeah, that's the one that sealed it for me. His loss
mean,
to Asanoyama.
It wasn't
Oh,
like he
yeah.
got absolutely trounced, but it was like, this guy's been in bed for a week. Like, what?
What are you doing?
What are you doing, man? Yeah, that was when it was like, okay, yep, nope, it's officially done.
Yep.
Yeah. I think also like this is those kind of like crashing because I was kind of hyped up on him coming into it. I thought like, yeah, he like just got Yusho. He's still pretty good. He can make it happen. But just like watching it is like, oh, wait a second. This is also the other side of Takakeisho's coin. And if he was going to bring it anytime, like if he wanted to bring it, this was going to be the time. So I think I've accepted more that he's a little bit more inconsistent than I would hope.
But he broke his trend. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, he followed up with Kachikosh after he won the Yusho. So that's, hey, he's bucking his normal trend anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was very 9-6 is really good for Nozaki. Like it's really hard to win up there in the Joy, and he was able to pull it out. So, but it's just I think my belief of him going Yokozuna, I think he can still do it because it's like you never know how like the matches are gonna turn out. But I think my belief is I no longer believe it that is gonna happen, I guess.
If we were to power rank the Ozeki on who you believe would make it to Yokozuna, what would that power ranking look like for you right now?
Definitely a Kirishima, Hoshoryu, Takakeisho.
Oddly, it is the rank in which they finished.
If you're not putting Kirishima 1, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he's certainly one Basho closer than either of the other two guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
I
it's
would
also
agree with that ranking, Fleric. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also like just eye test. Like just watching their sumo, the most recently, it's like those two. I think they have somewhere to go, especially Kirishima, Hoshoryu, and
Definitely
Takakeisho.
hungry.
It definitely feels like he's gonna need a big helping of luck if he's gonna pull off the Yokozuna thing. He can still do it, like it's still possible, but he's gonna need a lot of things to go his way.
Yeah, I think for me, Takakeisho and Kirishima are both 27 and Hoshoryu's 24, which to me is easy to forget and kind of lump them all in the same boat
How
here.
is Takakeisho the same age as Kirishima?
Right? He made
I keep
Ozeki
forgetting,
at like
he 22 years old.
Yeah, no,
I was
going to
say 12, but yeah.
Yeah,
well, 12.
Might as well have been.
But he's just become this institution by being so good, but apparently having so firm a ceiling so far that like, yeah, it's tough. But I think I would put Hoshoryu and Takakeisho if those two were to face off against each other. I wouldn't be surprised if they were even at full strength, if they were kind of in the same boat now, but give it another year or two, maybe. I think Hoshoryu will surpass that. But yeah, I think it would be Kirishima and then the other two guys just below him, but I would put him on equal footing.
Let's move on and talk about Teruno Fuji a little bit, and more importantly, YDC's thoughts on Teruno Fuji. And we're starting to get we're being given hints at the possibility of grumblings from the YDC.
Maybe.
So just saying it's possible.
Basically, yes. So their comments on Teruno Fuji, this is from translation from Kitama Yama. It is truly unfortunate that the Yokozuna was absent. We will watch his progress, hoping he overcomes his health problems and will enter the Hatsu Basho. If he doesn't show up, it will be regrettable. If that happens, comments may arise. And then
maybe.
Are you not making comments by making comments? Like,
apparently
okay,
not.
Whatever.
No.
And then when asked further if they would pursue one of like the 3 actions that the YDC council can pursue, which is encouragement to, I don't remember what the encouragement is. Like encouragement, get better, we'll see you soon, but we better.
That's a little too
realistic
positive for the YDC, I think.
Caution, and then recommendation to retire. Their comments on that was, we haven't gone that far yet. No, it will probably be a statement of our general feelings. We haven't decided anything yet. We'll see what happens in January.
Most non-committal answers I think I've ever heard.
All right, everybody. Hard month's work here. Let's
Good job.
let's take this offline and meet again here in January.
Yeah.
To the bar. I want some sake.
So yeah, grumblings of some possible comments in the future. But I think all signs are pointing to Terunofuji being in the Hot Soup Basho.
Mm.
Hopefully things continue to trend that way, because it'd be really cool to have a Yokozuna back on the dojo. We've missed
the
him for
Yokozuna.
6 out of 7 Bashos.
What if
Mhm.
what if he comes back and he and Kirishima go 14-1 or 14-0 and then meet on the final day?
Oh,
Then
God.
we'd have Yokozuna Kirishima.
Yeah, Terunofuji wins,
That'd be a
does
dream.
a fist pump over him, and then retires.
Absolutely.
Hakuho embraces Hakuho and's like, okay, I retire. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's a dream.
Hakuho walks
I
onto
love
the
it.
dojo, gives Terunofuji a hug, holds his arm over his head, presents him the
The
Emperor's
Emperor's
Cup,
Cup.
and then Hakuho is promptly kicked out of the JSA.
Just starts clapping again. Like, yes. Yes.
Kakuryu and Goedo pull him off the dojo. Hakuho's just, they got one arm under each of his shoulders. He's kicking his legs, trying to get back up there, but they're taking him out, and we never see Hakuho again.
We're getting dangerously close to B territory here with our fantasy
Uh-oh.
booking.
Yeah, we are.
Mhm.
Let's move on then. Quick notes about our Sekiwake. Koto Nawaka really was showing his potential this Basho. There was a long stretch of that, probably before his third loss, where I'm like, Koto Nawaka could be the favorite to win this Yusho. But then he did pick up those 2 late losses. He currently sitting 20 wins over to Basho, pretty much the same position he was in this Basho, where 13 in January could get him an Ozeki promotion. There started to be some rumblings from the JSA about his name and Ozeki in the same sentence. So they're definitely looking at Koto Nawaka as somebody who will be probably pretty quickly in their minds stepping up to the Ozeki rank should the results follow. And other notes at Sekiwake, we had our first losing record at the Sekiwake rank since March, with Wakamoto Haru going 6-9 this Basho, and he's going to be dropping out of the Sanyaku ranks for the first time in a year. I believe this is still only Wakamoto Haru's second losing record in the top division, so he's still doing fantastic. Just an off Basho for Wakamoto Haru.
That's,
First Sekiwake loss, losing record since March. That's wild.
exactly
Since
what I
his
was going
brother
to bring up.
Wakataka Kage.
Oh, okay.
Which that is a ridiculous stat. That makes no
Yes.
sense to me.
And we've
How are
had
there only
at
2
least,
of them?
And we've had at least 3 Sekiwake that entire stretch.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 of them got promoted. One of them's knee exploded, and then now, now we're back to a somewhat normal era for Sekiwake totals.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess.
Next Basho, it should just be Koto Nawaka and Daisho for the Sekiwake ranks. Should be back to the normal number of Komusubi and Sekiwake for the first time in over a year next Basho.
Jeez.
Then some other quick hits that I had for Rikshi this Basho. Asanoyama, we mentioned before, he returned on day 8. He went 4-4 in those matches. If you remember, he had suffered a calf injury during the Junyo, so he finished with an overall record of 4-11. Probably dropped down to like Maegashira 6-7 range around there. For our Komusubi rank, we're going to have Takayasu returning to the Sanyaku ranks, and Ura should be making his Sanyaku debut. And correction from earlier, he is 31 years old, not 32 years old.
Ryan,
Still, he's
you're
over
giving
30.
away your Bansuke.
If you're not getting these, then I don't know
Then
what
Ryan
you're
can't
doing.
help you. Yeah, okay.
Scrub.
And
Ura is 31.
Ura's
Yeah.
31 years old. We had
That
like
Blows
so
my mind.
many. We had a few years taken away from us from Ura, so I feel like he
that's a good
feels
point.
younger
That's
because
right,
we
he
haven't
did.
seen him for as long.
Yep.
But we had those few years taken away from us due to that knee injury.
Mhm.
2018, 19, and 2020, he was basically out or lower divisions, and then he didn't get back to the top division again until mid 21.
That's a great point. That was a long stretch when he was out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dang, that makes me a little sad. But
Yeah, go back and
He's-
look at his career record. Look at the trajectory he was on at the beginning of that before he got injured in 2017.
Crazy.
Absolute like top tier blue chip prospect level of rise from the very bottom. Incredible start. But
And his knee went kaboom.
then his other one went kaboom when he tried to come back a little
Yep.
early. And
Yep.
now he's just decided to mummify them and seems to be okay.
Seems
The
to be
Ikyo
working.
special.
But yeah, an impressive Basho for Ura as he started off 0-5. He went up against the 3 Ozeki and 2 Sekiwake on the first 5 days. They proved to be too much for Ura, but then he rallied to go 8-2 the remainder of the Basho to get his 8th win on the final day and claim the second Komosubi spot after Abi and Hokuto Fuji both had 9 or more losses, and they will definitely be dropping from that rank. Gonoyama continues to get winning records in the top division, going 8-7, securing his 8th win on the final day this Basho as well. He went 4-4 against the Sanyaku this Basho, including 2 wins over Ozeki, including our Yusho winner Kirishima. Sad news in Fun Rikishi Land. Kotoeko pulled out on day 10 after only getting 2 wins prior to that. So with an effective 2-13 record from Maegashira 10, Kotoeko is going to be dropping out of the top division for the first time since 2020. Don't know any details on his injury, but hopefully he will be back in time for January. And then there's going to be another big change at the bottom of the Makuuchi division, much like we had from the Aki Basho into the Kyushu Basho, as most of our newcomers kind of shit the bed.
Well, except Chura no Umi.
That's why I said most, but Tohakuryu, Roga, Kitanowaka all got 5-10 records. Chura no Umi, the one who I thought was going to do the worst, got 9-6 record. So yeah, we should have a total of 5 Juryo promotees in January, including Ono Sato after only his 4th career Basho. So it's not official yet, but when it does happen, we need to make sure that just because Haku Oho made it in 3 Basho this year, that we don't overlook how impressive of a start of a career Ono Sato has had, as he should be only the 4th guy in history to make it up to the top division this quickly after a Makushita Tsukedashi.
Wow.
Yeah, super, super cool. Real quick though, who do you have going down to Juryo? So you got Tohakuryu, Roga, and Kitanowaka with 5-10s from the very bottom here. Nishiki Fuji has a 6-9 from nearly the very bottom. Who else do you have going down?
Literally just talked about him, Kotoeko.
Kotoeko.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess I missed the part where you said that.
Yeah.
So 2-13 from Maegashira 10. You think that's a lock?
Easily,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
the Juryo promotions and Makuuchi demotions this time are going to be fairly cookie cutter. Like I said, I'm not
Gotcha.
worried about handing away that information. That's
Nope. Fair
pretty
enough. I
simple
just missed
this
that that Kotoeko was a lock there.
yeah.
All right. Filling out my Bonsuke right now. Gonna be best Bonsuke guy. I'm coming for
Coming
it.
for that trophy.
I'm coming for it.
Then Ryan's gonna have to actually get in the ring to earn some hardware.
Ugh, that takes like sweaty work. I don't like that kind of work.
I like it when my brain sweats instead.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anybody else that you guys want to mention that I haven't brought up this Basho?
I think it might just be that I'm getting used to him now that he's been sticking around for a little bit. But Hirodoumi,
Yeah.
bonkers, balls to the wall every time. Really starting to like that guy. I know that he's been in the top division for like a year or so, but sometimes it's harder to latch on to like Tohakuryu. This might be the only time he's ever in the top division, right? Potentially.
Well, Tohakuryu's a bad boy, so it's really easy to latch onto him.
Sumo and Biggs.
naughty.
Oh, wait, no, wrong guy.
No. That's Hidenomi.
Yeah, it's Hidenoumi.
But no, Hirodoumi has been around long enough that like, I'm not sure if I've mentioned him before. I've certainly noticed him before as like a very intense guy. But yeah, this Basho in particular, I was paying attention to him and I really enjoyed the absolute insanity that he brings to every single match. Yeah, he's turning into one of those he's must see TV, but in a different way than guys like, Enho or Ura or whoever, but like he's just
Kotoeko fans should be able to shift
Yes.
their fanhood over
Yes.
to Hirodoumi, and you will feel
And
right at
Midori
home.
Fuji, both.
yeah. Midori Fuji, Hirodoumi,
Hot damn.
these
Yeah.
guys that just bring it every time. Not that anybody like slacks off too much. Sometimes some people do, but like Hirodomi just set himself above in this Basho, in my opinion, with his sheer intensity.
Anybody
I
else
would
have
like-
any other Rikshi?
Oh, I think just because we only kind of glossed over him, but Takayasu, what a Basho.
Yeah, he
He was-
looked
yeah.
really strong, especially in a couple of those matches against the Ozeki. He beat
Mhm.
Kirishima. He beat Toshoryu. Did he beat Takakeisho? Did he get all 3 Ozeki scalps?
Doesn't look
no,
like it,
he
no.
lost to Takakeisho. But
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it was especially just like during his match against Hoshoryu, it just kind of looked like it's like I've been here before. Like, I was Ozeki. Let me show you young pups how it's done. My body is finally at the point where I want to, where I can do some stuff. Let's make some noise. And like I
Yeah.
just kind of loved him like smacking them down. That was really fun to see.
I can't wait till my body's at the point where it can do some stuff.
Oh man, any day now. Just nursing some of those sumo injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Yeah.
one guy that definitely stood out to me was Tsurugisho. For not expecting
Yeah.
anything out of him, he goes 9-6
Yeah.
and actually lifts up Hokuseiho. I'm like, all right, I'm watching, I'm paying attention, especially when we thought he'd injured himself. Was it his left knee? or
No,
his-
we know he was hurt. There was no
Yeah.
thinking about it.
But he
That man
still
was definitely
did it.
hurt.
Yeah. He was like hurt at the beginning. I thought he was one of those guys who was like, oh man, you should just call it quits, but you're just gonna stick around the entire time. This is gonna be awful. But yeah, he apparently he just like whatever was like nagging injury, like he just got over it, or he just didn't fought in a
didn't
way
care.
that didn't aggravate it. Yeah. And
Yeah,
he just decided to just lift people. It's like, fuck
Mm.
it.
Doctors hate this one simple trick of just acting not hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. Think again.
Who was the other one he lifted up? Was it maybe
Mitaki
Yumi?
Yumi,
Maybe.
I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had those
like-
guys fully off the ground.
Yeah.
And that Uchari, like big boy
Oh,
Uchari.
that Uchari was beautiful.
Oh, was that against
Oh.
Nishikigi, where like you could hear the thump of them two landing
the
simultaneously?
doyo cracks?
Yeah. No, Tsurugi, like you,
Yeah,
with him,
Nishikigi.
like we said, like he should have pulled out, but it's okay. He got 9-6, so he shouldn't have. No, he still should have pulled out, like for the best interest of his knee. Like when he collapsed 2 matches within the first 5 days, just he tried to throw somebody, and then his knee was like, absolutely not, and
Think
so he
again.
fell down. He should have pulled out. That's not long term good for his knee, but he got the results that he wanted. So it worked out. Don't know if he should have, but it worked out for him, and it definitely caught a lot of people's attention.
Serious big boy sumo style though,
Mm.
and that
Yeah.
very entertaining. Similar to Hirodomi, I think the last 2 or 3 Basho, he's kind of had that style building up for him that, at least for me, has become more noticeable recently.
And also Tomokaze, his return to the
Yeah.
top division didn't end up with a winning record, but a 7-8 record from
good.
Maegashira 14. He'll be sticking around in the top division, so just seeing him at all in the top division is nice again.
I have another guy to bring up. I think I have a question to pose. And it's about Obori Hokuseiho. So we kind of think like maybe like the end thing like he's gonna be building towards is maybe some kind of like Hakuho, or maybe an Akebono where he has like long reach and like height, and he's gonna use that to kind of push people around. But I have a new theory about this guy. Do we have another Ichinojo in the making with
I
Hokuseiho?
hope not.
It's looking more and more like that, certainly, than Akebono, I would definitely say.
Ichinojo
He
is
definitely-
not a bad comparison to end up with in a sumo
No,
career.
Absolutely
as far
not.
as results go, yeah.
Just not as dynamic.
Yeah, definitely like a very reactive style of rather than aggressive. Like the Hirodomi is kind of like he's gonna get in your face. He's gonna make you react to
he
him.
takes the initiative. Yes,
Right.
Exactly.
You have to think. Hirodomi's already just bowling through. Hokuseiho
Yeah.
seems to want to let you do something, and then he's the one who wants to think and outsmart you. Problem is, he's not super smart at it yet. So
Yeah, not
Yeah.
it turns out that is a flaw in the design. But
To his defense, that is a really hard style. You have to like lose like in so many ways until you can really refine that. But no, I just remember watching that, just kind of looking at him, the kind of slow, like like the long, like I wasn't here on the midway, but the water break one
Mizu
with like
Iri.
that guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Mizu Iri. And it's just kind of like, oh my goodness, like he's just kind of doing this lean style. It's like just throw another couple pounds and we have another Ichinojo on our hands.
There you go. It
I
seems to
mean-
me that he can't get low enough to like do too much else, which I mean makes sense when you're a million feet tall.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's I guess I'm a little annoyed at the amount of hate he gets for having a style of sumo that is clearly fairly successful. You don't get to be in like the top, what is he, top 7 so far? He's like roughly top 25 or so in the world at this, using that style. It's pretty effective. It's different, which to me is always exciting. And I mean, there aren't like super, it's not like a rock, paper, scissors thing where there's some other style that's guaranteed to beat it. There isn't like a silver bullet that is making him try too much harder than do the thing he does and lean on people. I'm entertained by it. I'm enjoying the not just for the novelty, but also for like the puzzle that you have to crack to get through this.
Yeah, he's definitely unique. I think the big thing is like he definitely has hit a wall of where it's like I think like he's probably not doing the style, at least the same way he is. It's not going to get much higher. And people always want to see people succeed, you know? And so I think that's kind of part of the issue. It's also just people like more aggressive, I think, people who do sumo. It's a little more flashy.
Yeah, and I mean, we were just talking about Kirishima, who turned a corner this year, right? When he was like roughly 26, 27. Hokuseiho is 22. So that's 4 years from now, he could potentially take a turn like that and just suddenly become good. Or Shodai had just 1 year where he just decided he was incredible. Yeah, obviously it didn't stick, but there's plenty of guys
for a
that
brief brief period of time.
I'm just saying that like it's very difficult to make long-term predictions, and somebody that's got that many tools and that much success at 22, I don't see him going anywhere for a while. I see him adding new wrinkles eventually, and being successful. It wouldn't shock me if he never made it to the Sanyaku. It also wouldn't shock me if he did and became a mainstay up there within several years. But either way, I'm certainly enjoying the ride so far.
Yeah. I appreciate that pushback of like just kind of saying like he's still very, very young. And this is still a style of sumo that's done quite well of getting at least mid Banzuke is very, very tough to do.
Yeah.
I just in my head I just kind of saw that comparison of with that. I just kind of want to say because like Ichinojo is someone like he got a lot of criticism, but like you say, he was up there, like he got like Sekiwake like multiple times and like doing some really good matches against some really tough people. And it's just like maybe the style of sumo that he's looking for is not going to be that flashy thing we want. It could still be very, very successful, but it might just look very different from what we're kind of maybe in our head hoping that he will become.
Sure.
It'll be
That's
very
fair.
interesting how it goes. Yeah.
So let's go down and review the lower division Yusho winners. In Juryo, we had Koto Shoho winning his 3rd career Juryo Yusho. He's going to be making his way back up to the top division for his 3rd Makuuchi stint. Every time that he has gone up to the Makuuchi division has been immediately preceded by a Juryo Yusho. So if he goes back down to Juryo, just expect Koto Shoho to win a Yusho down there before coming back up. In Makushita, a name to watch. Satori Fuji won his first Makushita Yusho. This is his 2nd lower division Yusho. He is 19 years old, and he has been rocketing up the Banzuke. In his career, he has gone 5-2, 7-0, 6-1, 5-2, 7-0. So he's going to be getting up to the meat grinder portion of Makushita this next Basho. We'll see if he can keep it up. But this is another guy in the Isekahama stable to keep an eye out on. Somebody else in the Isekahama stable, I'm just going to mention real quick, Takeru Fuji, who I believe he started his career with back-to-back Yusho in Jonokuchi and Jonidan. He is going to be making his Juryo debut next Basho.
Cool.
He's 24 years old, another brand new guy to the Isekahama stable who debuted last November, and his career records are 7-0, 7-0, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 5-2, 6-1, and his last 6-1 was at Makushita 1. So he's going to be making his Juryo debut.
Another fact about Takeru Fuji, he is Teruno Fuji's Tsukebito. So they are in close quarters, and he's definitely getting probably a lot of teaching and coaching from Terunofuji because of that. So
Yeah, if you got to fetch towels for somebody, it might as well be the best wrestler in the world. Yeah, that's a good place to be, I think. And I
sure.
think that I appreciate you bringing that up, Ryan, because Nishinoseki and Miyagano stables are the ones that have all of the flashy prospects right now, getting the big headlines and stuff. But Isegahama, especially with Terunofuji coming back these last couple of years, has really made a resurgence for potentially the best stable out there.
And they've got those young guys. We'll see how it pans out. But Atami Fuji, 21.
Yeah.
Takaru Fuji. I hope he changes his name. It's really hard for me to say Takaru Fuji.
Takaru Fuji.
Yeah,
Not
I don't like
Takara Fuji.
Yeah. It just throws me off. And it's going to be confusing
Midori
if they
Fuji, though.
Midori Fuji.
But like Takaru Fuji at 24 and Satoru Fuji. Is that what it is? Satoru?
Yeah.
Yeah. Satoru.
At 19. Like, that's 3 young guys that he's got coming up. And I mean, Isegahama is going to be retiring soon. So somebody's going to inherit a very good stable. And it might
a
be
retiring Yokozuna, perhaps?
Might be
Oh.
Could be.
That would be cool.
In Sandanme, Daishoryu. His first career Yusho in any division. He's 21 years old. He's been bouncing between Sandanme and Makushita for about 2 years, so we'll see if this kickstarts his career in Makushita. Jonidan Anosho, he is 20 years old. This is his first career Yusho. He's been in a Jonidan for about a year and a half, so this will bump him up to Sandanme for the first time in his career. And in Jonokuchi, Aonishiki, 19 years old. This is his first career Basho, and he's an impressive newcomer from Ukraine. So we've got a couple of Ukrainians down in the lower divisions now. I know we got Shishi, we've got Awanishki now. I don't know if there's anybody else in addition to those 2 from Ukraine, but
I was just going to bring up that Daishoryu sounds like another creator wrestler name.
yeah,
There's a handful of ones out there. The other one that always makes me think that was a former GSB belt holder, Tochi Musashi. It's like, I'm just going to pick a prefix and a suffix, and we're slapping them together.
Yep. All right. It's commercial time. It's legit commercial time. Then plugging our social media time, and then Jake Funny commercial time.
Totally legitimate extra commercial, you mean?
Extra commercial.
Yes. Jake, do you want to do real commercial time?
Real commercial. Got to give one last thank you. Our third episode of this Basho, we're calling out Rich Mushrooms again. These are from our buddy in Houston, but Nick Tan of Shogeki Sumo has a mushroom farm, and he makes mushroom jerky. And I highly recommend it to anybody. They've got 3 flavors out there. There's an original. There was the honey miso and sriracha. All 4 of us, last time we were hanging out together, we got to try them, and very good. I would definitely recommend it. It's an organic and healthier alternative to, not even, I guess, alternative to, but like it's, for me, it scratches that same itch as like beef jerky, something that you can snack on for a while, and savory, salty, kind of just excellent, delicious.
This might be sacrilegious, but I honestly prefer the mushroom jerky over the beef jerky, just for the fact that it doesn't get stuck in my teeth like the beef.
Oh, it was really good for that. Yes, that's true.
Besides, their mascot is just adorable. Look at that little guy. Just look at him.
There you go. There's Kinoko the mushroom.
Kinoko!
But yeah, so in addition to health benefits, it also saves substantial amounts of land, water, and carbon dioxide in the production. So it is healthy for you and for Earth, which is pretty cool. But yes, thanks again to Rich Mushrooms for helping sponsor our episodes this Basho. It has been a big help and a lot of very fun, tasty samples to make sure that we knew that we were backing a good product here. And
now go get some.
Yes.
Go out there and go get some more.
Available on their website. Search for Rich Mushrooms, or on Amazon. Both the jerky and the adorable pimp mushroom plushie are available on Amazon.
Also,
And
look at the link in the comments. There's a link in the comments.
Oh, yes. We'll
Links
make sure
will
to
be
do
in
that.
the descriptions. Yep. All right. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back after some very legitimate commercials, we will go over where the GSB belt resides.
Excellent.
If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
Coming in 2024. Tired of battling to find sumo videos every Basho? Try Sumo, the new streaming service from Grand Sumo Breakdown. Catch all the sumo you can handle with a video library going back to Japan's Edo period. It's a perfect holiday gift for the sumo fan on the go. And if you're craving even more original sumo content, check out our new media section, with sumo shows voiced entirely by Jake from GSB, such as everyone's favorite workplace sitcom, Future Yama. Good news, everyone! The Bansuke's been released! Or that irreverent cartoon, Rick and Morty. Take off your clothes, Morty. It's time to wrestle. Geez, Rick, I don't know. There's no weight classes in sumo. Looking for something more serious? Try CSI Kokugikan. Lieutenant, it looks like the fire at the Heya may have been set deliberately. If we're going to prove it was arson, we'll have to sort through a lot of forensic evidence. Well, you know what they say in sumo. Take it one match at a time. Plus, if you sign up today and use promo code SUKEBITOFLERIC, get a free trial of our stand-up comedy library with sumo specials from comedians like Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with knee ligaments? They're always tearing. Who designed this stupid joint? Yakov Smirnov. In amateur sumo, you have flat dohyo. In Ozumo, dohyo flattens you. And Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get no respect, I tell ya. I told my Tsukebito to tie my mawashi on me. He tied it around my neck. All this and more on Sumo by Grand Sumo Breakdown. By the way, NHK has already canceled Sumo.
Damn it.
We shouldn't have aired that commercial publicly.
It was a good run.
It was a good run. About a minute and 45.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, rip in peace, Sumo. Let's get into the GSB belt. So the GSB belt, Ryan, did you guys cover this on the midway just to get it where it was at?
Mr. Kagayaki, I believe.
Yes.
Yep. He had it for day 8 and then immediately lost it and never sniffed it again.
Yeah, quite a bit of hot potato being played with the GSB belt this Basho.
Yeah. It let's see. Asakoryu had it for 4 days in a row. That was pretty cool. He's one of the new little guys. Hoping to see him up in the upper division soon. But Ono Sato took it day 14. He also won day 15. But then in the playoff, Koto Shoho took it. As we already discussed, Koto Shoho will be well into the Maegashira ranks. So the belt, which took like freaking 3 years to get from Makushi to Juryo, quite immediately burnt through Juryo on its way to Makuuchi, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. There's more opportunities for interchange there. But very cool. Might get it even closer to the top.
I feel like we should have made this announcement from like a battleship with a mission accomplished banner, only for it to fall immediately back down to Juryo in an exchange bout next Basho.
Oh no!
Yeah, very possible.
I can't wait.
We did it.
We did it.
Or like a Makuuchi 17 wins it, and it's his only win out of 15 days or something, and he goes all the way down to like Juryo 10. That's also. But regardless, we got up to Makuuchi, and we did it with style points with a playoff. Pretty cool.
Right. Oh, geez. I've been negligent in my duties as Yokozuna to berate Sukebito Fleric.
That's
And
even the promo code in the commercial.
Exactly.
I know.
I know.
I tried to remind you.
God. Sukebito Fleric, be nice to me again.
You're the best Banzuke guy, Yokozuna, Ryan.
I am. I have a trophy that says so.
You're
That was
really
nice.
good at picking Kirishima and not Takakeisho during the prediction series.
Even when Takakeisho's been picked before me and he's not an option, I still
He
made
didn't
the
have a
hard
choice.
decision to take Kirishima over Takakeisho. You're right.
That was a good winning move. You also did not pick Midori Fuji as your chump like I did.
That's true. I think we ended up with the same amount of chump points, but I feel like if I had Midori Fuji, it would have been just that much more worse. You're right.
Oh shit, you had the same chump person?
They both ended
Yeah.
9 and 6.
General
Alright.
sucked for a chump too.
Well, fuck. I take that back. Your sense in chumping is just as bad as me.
How dare you?
Oh yeah,
Tsukebito
for a long
Fleric.
Yokosuna and Ryan, weren't we like neck and neck and like
Oh,
just sucking so bad in the beginning, like midway?
For a while, it looked like, all right, it's Jake and Mac for the top and Ryan and Fleric for the bottom. And then Kirishima just forgot how to lose. And so that really helped quite a bit.
Well,
That is
if
the
there's
trick
one
to doing
thing-
well. Just
Yeah, if
forget how to
there's-
lose.
Yes.
That's like Douglas Adams. Like the trick to flying is to hit the ground but miss.
To throw yourself at the ground
yeah.
and miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's one thing to say for Tsukebito Fleric, he was consistently in trailing the
Yes.
whole time. So
That's very true.
Yeah.
he's a man
it
who
was,
knows his brand of sumo.
It
Yeah,
was actually,
I had hope that our prediction bet. That's I should say the prediction bet was Wakamoto Haru versus Daisho. Daisho was the better of the two,
Yep.
so I did get that point.
Yeah. Yep.
But then I immediately lost it by gambling away during our sumo match.
it,
and you
it
got
would
it back.
have made a difference, unfortunately, for you.
Yeah, it would not have, but
It made a difference to me.
Yeah.
Actually, it was highly entertaining day 15 for
Yeah.
the Champ Chump series because as fate would have it, it was either going to be Mac or myself as the champ. It depended on who would win between our two champs on day 15, Kirishima versus Takakeisho. And then it was going to be either Mac or not Mac, but Jake or Fleric for the chump. And as fate would have it, their two champs, Daisho and Hoshoryu, were facing off on day 15.
Yeah.
And that's what decided the winner and the loser for this. So it was very cool ending for the prediction series this time, which I thoroughly enjoyed and explained in far too much depth on Salt City Sumo.
Yeah. Oh man, I may have drifted off for a match or two during that. No. The only thing that would have been more fitting is if me and Fleric had our chumps face off to see who was going to lose.
Oh,
That would have been slightly more fitting.
Yeah. I was going against someone else's chump because I know I had 4-point day potential. And my chump lost. I felt really good about that. So I got 2 points.
I think it was
then-
your chump versus my chump.
Yeah. And my chump proved to
That
be
sounds
the better
the
chump.
chumpier.
The
Yeah.
better
better
the
chump.
chumpier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
very
chumpy.
exciting. I had hope until the last day, which is the thing you kind of hope for going into our prediction kind of game we have.
Yeah,
But it's,
sometimes your soul is crushed well before that.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. But you
So-
you were quite right, where like I was definitely trailing the entire time. It was a rough time.
So, because Tsukebito Fleric lost our prediction series, that means, of course, he is going to be punished. And the punishment this time was writing a sumo mystery to be read on the Hatsu preview. So, Fleric, I know, and I think we made explicit mention that it is going to be a completely non-erotic sumo mystery.
Yep, it has to be a
So-
sumo mystery.
Just-
Yeah.
It doesn't have
No-
to be unfunny. but
Right.
It's,
It's not
Maybe
going to be
erotica.
sexy.
yeah.
Mhm.
And-
Okay,
and
I'll
since
try my
we-
best.
Since
It
we
might
had
be a
that
little
pretty
bit-
vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, since that one was pretty vague, as the second place loser, I'm happy to help out there because I know that was kind of a weird one that we sprung without really discussing what it meant. So
I might request a cameo of Harumu Fuji Jones. We'll see.
Nice.
hey, speaking of,
Well, before we get to Harumu Fuji Jones, Fleric, I know the last time you lost one of these punishments and you had to write an erotica, you wanted to make sure you weren't cast adrift in sea with no lifeline to pull you back in. You needed some
You're right.
subject to latch onto. And so the mystery that I want you to examine and write a story about is, why was Hoshoryu so upset with Gonoyama? What led to the face-off? What was the fallout of this face-off? What mystery surrounded this interaction? What don't we know about what happened there?
if he stalled long enough
Okay.
until midnight, Gonoyama was going to turn back into a pumpkin, and then he could have beaten him easily.
Okay, so now we can't do that one
Oh,
because
sorry.
The Cinderella trope is gone now, Jake. Come on.
I knew that one off the top of my head, so I had to share. Sorry.
All right. I wrote it
All
on the
right.
outline for you, Flarek, so you don't forget.
I appreciate it. I've also put in my notes that I will immediately
Oh,
lose,
okay.
so it would be great.
We will definitely have to team up to send regular reminders to Flarek so that
Yep.
this does not begin 2 hours before the recording of the next
I can
preview.
also assist in writing it, Flarek.
Yeah.
I've read
The
quite a
reminders
few
really, reminders really help getting it to 3 hours before the recording.
Yes.
Those would be
My
clutch.
man. Baby steps. So, speaking of Haramafuji Jones, though, my commercial that I kind of got very lost in the weeds on and didn't really make it a commercial, more of a trailer.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
I wanted to,
most TV shows that come out, they don't have just one trailer. They have the teaser
Yeah.
trailer, and then they have like another trailer that shows you a little bit more.
this one is kind of like a a post-credit scene almost. It's but
After everything.
But I did there's a guest voice on this, and I'll talk about that afterwards. But in the meantime, here is Haramafuji Jones, private investigator, and the finale here for his case of the match fixer. Ice clinking in my glass filled the silences between the gunshots ringing through the Kokugikan. I took a drink to steel my nerves and spun around the corner, firing wildly as I dove for cover.
It's funny, isn't it, Jones?
Mr. Yaocho's voice mocked me, hidden somewhere up ahead.
Funny that it ends here, where it all began.
I took a shot of sake and reloaded, hands shaking, and I waited. "You're not getting away from me again!" I yelled, though I don't think either of us believed me.
I'll always be here, Haramafuji Jones. I'll haunt this building forever! Forever!
My patience paid off. I spotted the bastard's shadow. I took a shot of sake and gave him a shot of lead. Got him. Took a shot of sake and crept out of my cover to finish the job.
Damn you. Damn you, Haramafuji Jones.
I followed the blood to the center of the Kokugikan, downing my drink as I watched him claw his way to the dohyo.
If I die, at least I'll die on the clay.
It's more than you deserve, Mr. Yaocho. All those yen can't buy your way to victory now.
You never were up for sale, Jones. I always hated you, but god damn it, I respected you. You and your stupid, honorable sumo, swirling about the ring like sake in a glass.
I took the hint and poured the dying man a drink. We had one last sake together.
I'd do it all over again.
I know.
Haramafuji Jones just murdered that man in cold blood?
Damn,
It was
that
Mr.
got
Yaocho.
brutal.
Yeah. You gotta stop Mr. Yacho.
Yeah.
It would destroy the integrity of the sport.
I didn't
one
realize
collar
the
he
show was
could never
rated
make.
TVM.
No kidding.
No, that guest voice was Jake Cullison of Ohio Sumo, the guy
Oh,
I was
wow.
chatting with the night before I picked Shonan Naomi to be my champ last Basho. So that was his penance. He also we also did a after the tournament in Indiana, we had an exhibition Jake versus Jake match, and he carried me out of the ring like a damn baby.
The Tochinoshin Enho effect.
Way
yeah.
higher. like I got altitude sickness. But anyways, there you go. I know it wasn't really a commercial, but after the first one, I got enough feedback and inspiration that I kind of had to do one more. But I hope that me doing a bunch of stupid voices in that other commercial was good enough to make up for
I
it.
think it was good enough.
It seems so long ago, but as former Yokozuna, it was very pleasing. I enjoyed it.
As
I
long
haven't
as
I'll
the
go back to-
Tsukebito's happy.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing my job. My Tsukebito can remember times of happiness in the past. So
Ah!
Now watch
The o-
my back.
Get a rag and wash my back.
Yes,
The only
Yokozuna
way
Ryan.
that I know that I can punish Fleric is to extend this podcast even further.
No, get me out. Get me out.
So, with that in mind, let's move on to our bold predictions, where, as always, we have to start with bad predictions. And our first bad prediction is friend of the podcast, Tim Sumo, for
And
predicting.
okay, Bansuke guy, I believe is his
Hey,
title.
He's only second in the world, so
Yeah.
middling at best.
Middling Bansuke guy. Let's get
Yeah.
him a trophy.
If you're not first, you're middling or last.
Let's get a tree stump sent to him with like a 2 carved in and something like that.
Yeah, Flair, show me your medal real quick. Is that the
I was
number
gonna
that
say,
we're talking about?
All right,
Yeah.
all right, all right.
He's
all
all right.
We're not talking
Tim sounds
this
pretty-
number, right?
No.
Oh, this is the number that Ryan has.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Sounds
okay.
all right.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
All right, but his bad prediction was that Roga and Kita Nowaka would both get 10 plus wins and get special prizes. They had 10 losses apiece.
Yeah, that's one thing
Whoops.
Tim and I have in common is bad predictions. And getting number 2.
Yeah.
I also had nearly 10 losses.
The Tachiai blog predicting an Endo Yusho. He also had 10 losses. And Hazel Rig predicted that all 4 Division 1 newcomers would get their Kachikoshi. As we've mentioned, Roga and Kita Nowaka and Tohakuryu shit the bed, all getting 10 losses and are going back to Juryo.
I almost want us to do like a contest win for worst prediction, but I feel like the novelty
That would be
wear
utter
off.
chaos.
Yeah, it would be utter
just be
chaos,
bad.
and it's so much more fun to call out our friends for trying to do well and doing poorly
Yeah.
than for trying to do poorly.
Suck better.
Maybe we'll do an unannounced reverse t-shirt awarding.
There we go.
An upside down GSB logo. I'm like, yeah, you tried.
Ooh, or off center, but only by
Ooh.
like an inch.
Yes. Missed it by that much.
Yeah, no, seriously, that would be fun if there was one where there weren't any like incredible, outstanding, bold predictions, but there were a bunch of really bad ones. That would be fun.
Yes.
For our good predictions, we had a quite a few people
Actually,
that predicted a Kirishima Yusho. But you're not going to win because predicting an Ozeki to win the Yusho when there is no Yokozuna isn't necessarily bold unless you get some details exactly right. So starting off, Patricia Dobashi predicted Kirishima would win his first of 2 consecutive Yusho on his way to Yokozuna promotion. So Patricia, we're going to be hanging on to this prediction until January. And if that comes true, there might be a t-shirt coming your way in January.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be worth a bonus
That's
consideration.
Definitely.
there.
Definitely. If it happens. If it
Not
happens.
happening this time, but you know,
We're holding on to
ABV
that one.
predicted a 14-1 Kirishima Yusho, but also an Atami Fuji Kachikoshi and Ura getting up to Komosubi. Got BC predicted Kirishima Yusho and Koto Nowaka runner-up. We also, I gonna butcher this name, so I apologize. I'm gonna say Z Macklin with a Kirishima 12-3 Yusho. Sun Shui with a Kirishima or Hoshoryu Yusho with a Koto Nowaka Jun Yusho, and KAF with Kirishima Yusho. So quite a few people predicting the Kirishima Yusho. None of those quite good enough to get the t-shirt, and we had one more good prediction. I'm so sorry, Asset. I know you've been trying for so hard. You've been close for so long, and you're going to be bridesmaid once again. But your prediction, Atami Fuji having 9 or more wins, both Musubi getting Makekochi, and Ichi Yamamoto getting double-digit wins. You were this close. I really want
really
it for
good.
you.
It's
I'm
really good.
I'm rooting
That's
for you.
good.
And as one of the people that decides who this t-shirt goes to, I easily could have sent it your way. But I couldn't do it.
Right.
but the rest of us think you're a dick, so we won't do it. No, seriously, this last one though is a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So t-shirt winner goes to Eggman's asshole as they predicted Asanoyama would end up with a worse record than Ura, which I think would be fairly bold for most people coming into the Basho. And Asanoyama did miss the first week, but even if you look at the week 2 results, Asanoyama went 4-4, Ura went 6-2. So even in that instance, Ura outperformed Asanoyama. But the thing that really got us was Ichi Yamamoto in Yusho contention until day 13. So one, Ichi Yamamoto being anybody we would consider in Yusho contention is kind of out of left
Very bold.
field. Ichi
Very bold.
Yamamoto was the leader on our midway episode at 7-1, and the day that he dropped out of Yusho contention was day 13. So that is kind of the specific boldness that we are looking for. So we will proudly send a t-shirt to Eggman's asshole.
God
You
bless.
earned it.
God
You
bless.
earned it, indeed.
Good Lord.
Yeah, really, God bless this country that is how we recognize this man and or how we recognize this person. I
Contributions to
can't
sumo.
presume.
You're right. That's just as likely to be a woman who goes by Eggman's asshole.
With a picture of Funky Kong for their Twitter profile.
You know,
All
it's
right.
better than what it could have been a picture of.
That's
A
true.
good point. That's a very good point.
We will be in touch with you,
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
or Miss
hey.
Asshole.
We will be in touch with Eggman's asshole. Yes,
All right, have we said it enough times? Can we move
Yeah,
on?
I think we're good.
Cleric, I need you to say it, and then we're good.
Eggman's asshole. Nope, he's gonna rhyme.
Hey!
Thank you, Sukamiti Cleric. Let's move on
Oh,
to
Lord.
the GSB awards. The first award is the Slippery Boy Award, and that goes to Midori Fuji for somehow winning on days 3 and 4. These are both days where he's being pushed out of the ring, and then he just balances just long enough for his opponent to fall or fly out of the dohyo on their own, when most other rikishi would have long been out of the dohyo. So Midori Fuji gets the Slippery Boy Award. The award for the best impression goes to Hoshoryu for his spectacular impression of Asashoryu on day 5 against Go no Yama.
I thought it was going to be me doing Yakov Smirnov.
And then also the Karma Award also goes to Hoshoryu for getting dumped on his ass by Takeyasu the day after his excessive Tachiai stare down.
Yeah, the fact that it was back-to-back days is what really made that just pure comedy.
Yes. So we'll move on to our match of the Basho. Day 2, Daisho versus Go no Yama is our first nominee. This was just a straight-up battle between two pusher thrusters who have never even heard of a Mawashi. And it was just a back-and-forth battle. And then what really sells it for me is they both go flying down at the same exact time in the same exact way. And their hands just both brush the dohyo at the same exact time, just showing that these two guys were very equal. For that match, Daisha would win the rematch, but I very much enjoyed that match a lot, and it was almost my nominee for match of the Basho.
Was this the one where they did the rematch and it was the same match, but just like slightly easier timing to see who won?
Yeah, I don't think it was the same match. I think Daisha won.
Daisho got that one, yeah.
Well,
Lot
there was
quicker.
one match early in the Basho, and I wish I had taken better notes for potentially joining the midway, but like there was one match early in the Basho that like the same match happened again.
I think you're thinking of the last Basho. That
Am I?
happened.
Ah,
Yeah.
crap. Okay.
There were a couple Torinaoshi
Maybe
this tournament.
Maybe
though.
I took more head hits on that tournament than I thought I did.
No, that was definitely something we talked about on the previous.
Oh,
Basho.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Our next nominee for match of the Basho, day 3, Koto no Waka versus Meisei. This was a battle that Meisei was controlling most of the time. He got Koto no Waka backed up to the Tawara, but Koto no Waka was able to pull off an amazing maneuver, Kimorite, that hadn't been used for over a decade in the top division in order to pull off the reversal win over Meisei there. Day 4, we had Atami Fuji versus Ryuden. Just another great back and forth belt battle between these two rikishi. A lot of times you see Ryuden get an early belt grip, and it's very hard for you to win that match, but Atami Fuji was able to persevere and wear out a Ryuden to get the win there. We also have the aforementioned Hoshoryu versus Takayasu battle. It was a very spirited battle. throughout. Started with some pushing, thrusting, moved on to a belt battle. Hoshoryu tried to go for some throws on Takayasu or some leg trips. Didn't
trips,
work out.
yeah.
Got himself in a bad position, and Takayasu was just able to lean over, grab Hoshoryu's leg, and then stand back up and dump Hoshoryu on his ass. And then day 10, Takayasu versus Midori Fuji. Just Midori Fuji's ability to withstand Takayasu's thrusts to like the
Punishments.
to his shoulders and face was just impressive, and then to eventually be able to get the win over Takayasu. Very impressive match for Midori Fuji there. And before we announce the winner, I just want to make sure we shout out our patron, the Cowpuncher, for providing us easy access clips for all of these Match of the Basho matches in our Discord for very easy reference for us to look back during the Basho. So thank you very much, the Cowpuncher.
Yeah, seriously, that was I did not expect that to be as helpful as it was to have that discussion throughout the Basho, because we have a terrible habit of waiting until the Basho is done to start collecting our nominees for Match of the Basho, and then kind of like hunting for clips and stuff like that. But having that discussion, not only did it help us keep everything straight, but it was awesome discussion with everybody talking about specific matches and guys like Wata bringing up like old context of like history stuff. And yeah, it was very cool.
Another treasure and deserved shout out, Wata. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, suck it, Wata, because he was very much rooting for me to lose the prediction series.
Oh God, we all were.
Everybody always is, but suck it, everybody.
He's one of us.
I think that's admirable quality, Yokozuna Ryan.
I won my third one this year. You all suck. Get on my level. But especially Wata, because he made like a clip taking our predictions of when we were choosing our chumps, because I had Shota no Umi and he started off 7-2, and it was looking very dire for me. It was looking like I was gonna lose, and so he like made this. He like put effort to edit a video together of like
really well done.
how Ryan was gonna lose, and then like made like a novel that I was going to write that he put up on like Amazon or something like that, like the mystery of Shota no Umi winning a novel by Ryan Sumo Guy. And so screw you, Wata. I won. How dare you?
A+ effort though. That is
well
that
done,
is,
Wata.
That
Well
is the
done.
kind of trolling that we created that Discord to foster.
Yes.
And so I was going to end the episode here, but then I remembered the one thing that Sukebito Fleric hates the most about sumo is podcasting about sumo. So let's talk some more sumo.
Hey, did we?
We never said the Match of the Basho.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Hoshoryu versus Takayasu.
Hey!
Match of the Basho for Kyushu. I got so
You're
riled
going
up
off the
about
rails,
Wata
Ryan.
Thing. I know.
Yeah.
I just got so
Yeah,
worked
hold
up.
yourself, Yokozuna.
This is your job, Sukebito
If you-
Fleric, to keep me in line.
If you want me to slap you a few times to get your senses, just let me know. I'm ready to do that.
He'll do that for you.
Yeah,
That-
for you.
That's how much he cares.
Thank you, Sukebito Fleric, and to honor those slaps for getting me back on pace. Let's move on to our patron
Before we
question.
do, I do actually want to talk about the Hoshoryu Takayasu. I just loved how like one of the throws was like one thing we mentioned like a couple weeks ago at our amateur sumo practice. Jake, I don't know if you remember that. Of where you get close and then you lift up the other guy's leg.
Yeah. Randy was leading us in some drills related to that. A couple of the things that they were trying. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was something you see a lot. It was kind of something you just recently kind of tried, and just kind of seeing him do that and it not working, and then Takayasu knowing exactly what to do, which is like, oh, this is the leg you're planted on. I'm just gonna pick this up. Boop.
Yeah.
It's just that experience that Takayasu had in that situation it's nice to see, because like he's been around the block. He's one of the old Sly Foxes now. You know, that
He's
kind
younger
of
than all of us but Ryan. Oof.
yes, but his knees age are quite
Yeah, okay,
quite
fair.
well.
So it's just nice to kind of see that experience and kind of able to just show these young pups this is what you do in these situations, and I thought that was a really fun match.
Yeah, and speaking to that experience, the second that he touched that leg, he was like, "Yep, got it. And like before Hoshoryu hit the ground, Takayasu was already just kind of strutting off, like in that like that way of like, how dare you bother me to be on my feet, kind of like that walk that he does when he's like, guys like what was his name, Terutsuyoshi or Hokuto Fuji, or Ura. Sometimes like the emotion cracks through a little bit, and you can see when they're happy and when they're celebrating a win. And Takayasu, the more he's celebrating, the like absolutely sluggishly casual he is. And he had that perfect walk-off win.
The
that
swagger,
was so cool.
the saunter.
It was like so little swagger that it was very clear he was swaggering.
Well, you have to
He's
have
an
seen him long
anti-swagger.
enough to recognize what he's doing.
No, but yeah, exactly. I just think that he pulls that off. He pulls off that like aggressive Hinkaku more than like anybody else. That completely emotional
Aggressive
dignity.
Hinkaku.
Yeah. You know exactly.
That's like
what
an
I'm saying,
oxymoron
though.
right there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's that's all I have
Well,
for you.
you can find us on Facebook.
No.
Hey, Flarex.
Other social
We've
medias.
got more sumo to discuss. Sukebito Fleric.
What?
I'm Yokozuna. I end this podcast.
Look at me. I'm the Yokozuna now.
So we've had quite a few questions come in from our patrons, and so we need to get some of these off the ledger, because there's some people really coming after us. They're like, hey, if you're not going to answer my question, where's my blood? We don't want to give them the vials of blood, so let's get to answering some questions. So Jackie Cobble asked us, which pair of sumo wrestlers in the top division have fought each other the most times? And Jake, you did the barest amount of research possible to get the answer.
That's exactly the joke I was going to make. I did all 2 minutes of research for this one. No, this one actually was really cool. On the front page of Sumo DB, there's like some kind of like example queries that you can look at. And one of them is pairings. If you go down the list to bout queries, there's a handful of different examples, like Asashoryu Hatsukao. That means like the first time meeting Asashoryu, as like an example query. But there's also pairings, which just shows it's a list of everybody who's faced off more than 30 times, of which there are several hundred pairings where that is the case. And I went through and I found, of active guys, the most we have is Tamawashi versus Mitakiyumi. Mitakiyumi is winning that one 29-7 in their lifetime record. They have faced off 36 times, and that is the most of any active pair. However, the most of anybody all time is nearly double that, and it's the top 6 pairings are all the same 4 guys facing each other. So the number 1 is Kisano Sato Koto Shogaku. They faced off 66 times, but toss in Hakuho and Haruma Fuji, and all 6 pairings between those 4 guys are the top 6 all time. So they range from 59 matches between Hakuho and Haruma Fuji up to 66 with Kisano Sato and Koto Shogaku.
Wow.
But yeah, I thought that was fascinating. That those 6 pairings with those same 4 guys facing off against the other 3 were the top 6. Very cool. The Tamawashi Mitakiyumi, if I didn't mention it, that was the 131st most common pairing in the history of sumo. So yeah, little ways to go still, and I don't think Tamawashi is going to be around enough for another 30 matches.
I don't know.
Probably not.
I mean, he might have it in him.
That's 5 years of facing Mitakiyumi every single time.
Now you're right. I think Mitakiyumi is going to bow out before that.
You're right. Right, that's what I meant to say. Mitakiyumi doesn't have that much time left in him.
Our next question is from Sugoi Creative. Their topic suggestion is related to the rise of Haku Oho. How many Rikishi have made Sanyaku or Ozeki before they could grow a top knot? So this one's a little bit hard to research because there isn't a search by hairstyle function in Sumo DB. So we can really only go off of our experience and what we've seen. And so the closest that we've seen to that is Ichinojo, who very quickly rose to Sanyaku after his debut. He was in Sanyaku 10 months after his debut. And in his Makuuchi debut, much like Haku Oho, he had Zanbara, or loose hair. where that wasn't long enough for any form of knot at all. But
Just a greased back, almost
Pull back,
mullety look.
straight. Yeah.
yeah, and Ichinojo went 13-2 in his Makuuchi debut with that Zanbara, which shot him straight up to the Sekiwake rank in his second career Basho in the top division, and he had a Chonmage in that Basho. So I think that's the closest that we would have had. If anybody knows of any other scenarios when somebody made it to Sanyaku still with Zanbara, or I can't believe anybody would have made it to Ozeki with loose hair still. I think that's the closest we're going to get. Obviously, Hakuoho still had loose hair in his Makuuchi debut. I believe Onosato will still have loose hair when it comes time for him to debut in January. So it'll take a pretty damn impressive performance by Onosato for him to get to Sanyaku in one Basho, and we'll see if he would still have loose hair at that point. But yeah, I think Ichinojo is probably the closest we've gotten.
Two of the other ones that I'm pretty sure might be the two other most recent ones to at least get into the top division with loose hair. Mitakeyumi and Endo both made it very quickly. I know Mitakeyumi had at least one Basho before he had a top knot. And I was having trouble finding any video of Endo, but he made it very quickly into the top division. Both those guys they started in Makushita, the same way that Hakuoho and Onosato. But those are two other potentials, but definitely neither of them got all the way up to Sanyaku before they had a top knot.
Yep. And we don't answer only Patreon questions here. We've got an email from Vili Corcula that sent us a couple of questions. But first, Mac, why don't you read the joke that they had sent us?
Do you know what Diamami was called before joining Sumo?
I do.
Born a daughter.
Okay.
Ryan, you ruined it. You ruined it.
There was enough pause. I thought you were waiting for a response.
It's called comedic timing, you ass.
I
neither of you
obviously
have
don't
it.
have that.
One more time. What's the answer?
Yes.
Mac?
Born a daughter.
It is funny if
Just a
somebody
time
doesn't
up.
interrupt
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was good. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
It's solid punetry.
Exactly.
Ooh.
But they also had a couple of questions. This first one directed at me, since I am the statistic guy in your group. Those are direct words, Jake, from our fan. So you can fight with them, not me.
Is dead to me.
I've been wondering who's gone back and forth between Juryo and Makuuchi the most times. I feel like Kageyaki could be at the top, but he's actually risen to Makuuchi from Juryo only 5 times. I wonder if there's an active Rikishi who's gone back and forth more times. If you don't find that worth checking out, no worries. If you do, however, please share the information with your listeners at a fitting time. Such a nice email from...
Oh, no, his email was outstanding. I read it several times like, oh, it's so touching. So thank you, Billy. Thank you.
But this was also something was able to find an answer to. And so currently, Rikishi that have gone back and forth between Makuuchi and Juryo are gatekeepers, that we like to call them. Kageyaki has been promoted to Makuuchi from Juryo 5 times, same as Diamami. There are 3 Rikishi currently active that have gone back and forth more. Tamawashi, he went back and forth quite a bit in his early career. He's gone back and forth 6 times. And then there are 2 Rikishi tied for 7 promotions from Juryo to Makuuchi. Those are Azumaru and Chiyomaru. So those are active Rikishi, but all time, they pale in comparison to Oshio, who was promoted from Juryo to Makuuchi a total of 13 times in his career.
Wow.
Following him is Onishiki, who did it 12 times, Otsukasa, who did it 11 times, Toyo Zakura, who did it 10 times, and there's 4 other Rikishi that did it 9 times. So Kageyaki's got a ways to go before he cracks the top 5 for this category.
I am not surprised at Azumaru, Chiyomaru, Kageyaki. Tamawashi legitimately very shocked that he was on that list, but that was definitely in a period of his career before we were following him.
Yeah, I mean, Tamawashi's been doing sumo for about 20 years at this point. Dude's been around. There was most of his career that we haven't even seen. So.
Oh my God. The next Basho. No, he just completed 20 years.
Okay.
Like literally exactly. He started in 2004 January. So 2024 January he's crossed the threshold of 20 years. That's nuts.
That's wild.
That's a long career.
And there was one more from Billy that's right up our alley. They said, my other question is related to pro wrestling. I'm a former wrestler and a current booker of FCF wrestling here in Finland. So naturally, I really like all the wrestling references and the storyline / booking commentary section at the start of your Basho previews. We're going to take full credit for all of that.
Don't worry
That's
about me.
only us.
Don't worry about him.
As a fellow wrestling fan, I'd be interested in your thoughts about the following. Who from Sumo would fit well into the world of pro wrestling? What kind of a character / style / finisher would they have? Heel or face? This is something you'd find fun to talk about at some point. I'd be happy to hear your ideas. This is a great idea that requires more thought from us before we
Absolutely.
get to it. It is on the docket. We will get to that, but we need to put some good time and effort into that. Not you, Flarek. I know you don't care.
Okay, good.
Flarek doesn't, yeah. I would say first blush here, somebody that like has a good look and a good style for it. First blush, I think Daisho might be pretty cool at that. I think he can mean mug with the best of them. And
I thought you were going to do a whole
striking
Shoryu
pushing.
over that.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
Shoryu
We'll
would
have
be
to talk
good.
about it more. But are you talking like a grappler guy? Are you talking a bruiser brawler kind of guy?
Oh,
I don't
Bruiser
know.
Brawler for sure, especially with the glare.
That's where Daisho would fit in. So
You've also
I don't know.
got Midori Fuji, who's going to be like your babyface underdog Rey Mysterio type. who's
Yeah,
just
sure.
smaller than
Maybe not a
everybody
high
else.
flyer because he's still probably like 3 Rey Mysterios in weight, but
Yeah.
at least like the underdog smaller guy because pro wrestlers
Billy,
are,
thank
if
you.
anything, even taller than sumo wrestlers on average.
Thank you for this food for thought. You can see
Yeah.
the discussions that are going to be going on behind the scenes. So thank you for
Yeah.
this question.
I got one more because you're obviously going to have Hokuseiho as your technically unsound giant who's kind of boring in the ring, but since he's
Gotta have
huge,
one of those.
they're always in like the main event scene for some reason, like Big Show or
You gotta be
somebody
a Big
of
Show,
that ilk.
Undertaker. Yeah.
All right. One last thing, we received a voicemail from Dennis Healy that we just want to acknowledge. So we talked about on the preview for this Basho. It's harder to find resources to watch these sumo matches. So he wanted to send along the message that you can watch all matches for free legally of the NHK highlights online. The downside to that is that it show up about a day and a half after the day's matches have concluded. So if that is not an issue for you, you don't mind being behind a day or so, there's a 27-minute package that's put together by NHK with English commentary for every day that has every match available to you. So that is available to you. I think the issue that us four come into is kind of wanting to be up on the conversation, not a day behind. It's harder to find those immediate results. But if you don't mind waiting, there is a very free, very legal way to find all the sumo matches.
You have
and that's
options.
The NHK highlights.
It might be something that I look into depending on how busy I am. It seems like something that I might try to do days like 3 once I get my fill, or not once I get my fill, but once I've broken the dry spell of no sumo kind of thrill, that you get. But then it's kind of tough keeping up from day, like, I don't know, maybe 4 through 10 or so. Maybe there's a window where it's like, I can be a day behind here or so or more, because, that's when you can, you're not down to the wire on the Yusho race or anything like that yet. But I don't know. It's very cool. And those highlight packages are always very well done. Time is the only issue that they're not super quick.
Yeah, just shout out to like the production quality on the highlights. I think that's what most of us started watching. It was like some guy just like uploading that to YouTube. That's how we started kind of getting into it, and it's well produced. I think I've actually remember putting that up a couple times when hanging around with some friends. And it's like, hey, check out the sumo, and it's like it's pretty easy for like someone who knows nothing to actually kind of watch it and like get what's going on with the commentary. Really helps as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, they're nice.
All right, so that is going to wrap up our question and answer portion of the review shoe. So we'll move on to discussing our favorite moments of the Basho. Tsuke Bito Fleric, what was your favorite moment of the Basho?
It's hard. I had a lot of fun with the stare down.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was.
And
good.
I really like some of the Takayasu matches as well. It was hard to say. I think this one's actually going to come down to the match at the Basho. That was just kind of a really enjoyable to see, and just watching how it played out was really, really fun.
What about you, Mac?
My favorite was the water break, and then the almost triumph of Midori Fuji. He was the little engine that almost did it. Not could, almost did it. He almost threw him, and then his body just collapsed. He almost had the win.
Turns out trying to support the weight of a man twice your size for over 6 minutes is very exhausting.
Well, who knew? Who knew?
Yeah. Shocking.
Oh, what about you, Jake?
I want to say amateur sumo again, which I know I've used that answer in the past. Getting to meet all
For the
sorts of
past
new
3
people.
Basho running, I believe, yes.
Yeah, sounds about right. I don't think I was traveling during the July one. But yeah, definitely the September one. But no, I think of the actual sumo here, I think we are solidifying a top tier more firmly. And I think that Kirishima winning plus Hoshoryu and Kotonowaka doing well. I think I feel like that's like a good, other than Takakeisho, nobody has felt like they belong in that like second tier below Yokozuna for a while. And I think that I as far as a moment, I'll say Kirishima winning and Kotonowaka coming in second. Like that result is kind of what did it for me. That feels like a very solid solidifying of this generation's best guys right now.
I'm glad Jake didn't take the cheap way out this time so that I can. I'm gonna say being able to interact with our Discord was
that was another
fun
good one.
for me throughout the entire Basho, just to have a small community but a very vocal community just discussing the Basho from day 1 to day 15
And growing community.
Yes, absolutely. And having a lot of knowledge in there, and then just having a lot of fun, especially with our patron prediction series that we did, brought a lot of fun conversation in there. So just having that for added conversation throughout the Basho was really fun for me, and I enjoyed that quite a bit.
I'm looking forward to stealing conversations we've had in that Discord into podcast content for years to come.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you all so much.
Main reason that we made that, just
Yep,
for
exactly.
Yep.
So that and get some more F1 fans in there. I'm happy of the other side conversations we got in there. I don't feel as alone anymore.
Yeah, we'll actually talk about it, Mac. It'll be fun.
I know.
It's great.
I'm looking forward to this.
Now but it's all done for the year, so we just
we got to look forward to next year.
All right, so that is finally, mercifully, Tsukebito Fleric, the end of the Kyushu review shoe. The next Basho that we're going to be discussing is the Hatsu Basho. Starts on January 14th in 2024. Can't believe we're going into 2024 already. But before that Basho begins, we got a busy end of the year here at Grand Sumo Breakdown. As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, the popularity poll is live. It is linked in the not in the comments, but in the description for the YouTube video and the description for this podcast. So it should be very easy for you to find. We'll plaster it all over Twitter, Facebook, wherever we need to. Please fill it out. It's not going to take too long, 5 to 10 minutes. Tell us who your favorite Rikshi are, your least favorite Rikshi are. We want to know. We want to track the stats of how it's been trending over the past 5 years. So every input is very much appreciated. Let's see if we can beat last year's number of 670 or so. We've gotten over 1,000 before. Let's get over 1,000 again. That would be fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then, sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, got to shout out sound effect credits for the commercials. Freesound.org is where I got pretty much all the sound effects. Airblock and Xenon are the 2 users where I got some cool stuff there. And Pixabay Music, that's Pixabay. @grand_project and SkillCell are the 2 users that I used content from there. So appreciate everybody who puts out free music and sound effects to use for podcasting like that. Always comes in clutch when you got to do stupid commercial shit like this. So yeah, lifesavers.
So in addition to our popularity poll, which we will try to record an episode with all the results of that prior to the end of the year, we will have the Grand Sumo Breakdown Award Show, where we're going to recap everything that's happened in the year of sumo and hand out our yearly awards, our 6th annual GSB award show at this point. It's very prestigious.
And 2nd annual Amateur Sumo Award Show. We're going to have some fun guests on that one. I think of this group, it might just be me of the 4 of us on that one. But either way, we're 2nd year in a row. We're going to make sure that we give out Amateur Sumo Awards too, because there is so much going on there. There's just as much content to follow as there is in Pro Sumo, I think.
So it's going to be a busy off season for Grand Sumo Breakdown. It's going to be a fun off season. We look forward to it. So thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.